Hello, family. How are you? I hope that you're all doing well this Christmas season for Christmas 2020. I thought that I would do something a little bit different in order to share with you. From our family to yours, what I do on a regular basis, and that is I teach drama classes, music classes, and dance classes. And one of the things that I've been doing with my own students that I thought your children or grandchildren would like to, or even great grandchildren, I guess, would like to join with me in is this fairy tale called The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. And I have been showing it to my students this year, and we actually did this part of our winter concert, distance winter concert. And so I love this fairy tale. It's my favorite fairy tale. So I decided to put on a Christmas sweater and just introduce you as to what I do on a regular basis. And hopefully you enjoyed the fairy tale. So I'm going to read this. I can only record in about 5-minute segments. So there might be a part 1, part 2 for each chapter, but I have some pictures up there and hopefully you will enjoy it. So The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. Chapter 1 is called A Sorcerer and His Mirror. So here it is. There once was a sorcerer, and he had a mirror. This was no ordinary mirror, and the sorcerer was not a kindly sort with tricks and fireworks for children. No, this sorcerer was full of wickedness and mischief. You see the sorcerer right up here. Okay. And he had warped his mirror. He had a warped mirror so that everything in it reflected appeared blighted and ugly. The face of a pretty lady would appear blemished and wrinkled. Even the tiniest spot or crease would seem to spread across the entire face. A stately and beautiful fruit tree would appear withered and gnarled, its branches bowed, and its fruit rotten and weeping. The sorcerer took his mirror on a grand tour, and soon every corner of the continent was affected by its malice. The people who looked in the mirror despaired and wept. Here they are again. For all their hopes, pride, and dreams turned to ashes, and nothing appeared fine or pure any longer. Men looked at the ancient ruins of Greece and Rome and saw only crumbling stones. Ladies looked in the windows of the finest dress shops in Paris and saw only tawdry dresses in cheap fabric. Children opened presents and cried because they wanted what other children owned because it was more expensive. Sorcerer laughed at his own cleverness. Ha ha ha! But before too long, the sorcerer became bored of tormenting petty humans and looked heavenwards to his entertainment. Thinking to turn even the angels' thoughts to despair, he directed his impish helpers to carry the mirror to the sky. See, there he is, and there's his impish helpers below him. To carry the mirror to the sky, pardon me, I lost my spot, and show it to the celestial beings. The sorcerer roared with laughter when he thought of the confusion he would cause in paradise. Ever higher the imps flew, but as they climbed, so the winds grew stronger, and the mirror grew harder to hold. But at last, a fierce gust seized the foul mirror, and it flapped away cloth wrappings, because gravity will have its day. But gravity will have its day, and soon the mirror crashed into a mountainside, smashing into hundreds and thousands of tiny pieces. The sorcerer's imps feared a beating, for their master would be harsh. Crestfallen, they returned to the castle and reported the disaster. They expected the sorcerer to fly into a rage, but he simply smiled and turned away when he heard the news, for he was a clever man and foresaw what would happen next. Shards of the fragments of the mirror were blown by wind and carried by water until they were found in every corner of the continent. Some were made into spectacle lenses, some into small decorative windows. Others were made pretty jewelry for young ladies. This made the sorcerer smile, for he knew that every tiny fragment retained all the powers of the original mirror. Those windows showed only a soulless and bleak world. The spectacles brought only the wearer's despair and sorrow, and the jewelry brought jealousy and vanity and discord into the lives of many a young couple's romance. Worse still, if a speck of glass were to fly into someone's eye, they would never find the stinging object, but things would never look the same again. But the unluckiest of all would swallow the pieces by accident or in their food. The glass would worm its way down into their hearts, and soon they would be cold and without feeling. A dark mood spread across the continent. Pickpockets became highwaymen. Jealous lovers turned to murder. Petty squabbles over land turned to open war. The sorcerer saw all this and smiled.